Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I just want to start by saying I haven't been around this many people in over a year. I'm so excited. Yay! And I can see your faces. So I'm so excited. All right, so let me get serious. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the beautiful campus of Wilson College. I'm Hillarie Flood, a member of the Board of Trustees and your Mistress of Ceremonies for today's celebration. It's my honor to call to order these proceedings for the installation of Dr. Wesley R. Fugate as the 20th President of the college. I invite you to remain standing as Reverend Derek Wadlington, College Chaplain and Director of our Karen Bonner Leader Program, delivers our invocation.
Good afternoon. In addition to the privilege of serving as college chaplain, I am a minister member of the Carlisle Presbytery, which is also a division of the Synod of the Trinity, all of the Presbyterian Church USA. And if you know anything about Wilson, you know that we are a Presbyterian-affiliated college. So I bring greetings and blessings from our presbytery, our synod, and the entire body of the Presbyterian Church USA. You didn't know I had that power and authority. I'm claiming it, so I assume that I do. If it be your way, please pray with me. Good and gracious God, we give thanks for this glorious day that you have made. We give thanks for the opportunity to gather in person to celebrate Wilson College and to formally welcome Wesley Fugate as our 20th president. We give thanks for this place, Wilson, for the many, many devoted who have shaped her over the years. We lift up the staff and faculty, the Board of Trustees, our passionate alums, all who care so deeply and dearly about this place. And above all, we give thanks for the continued opportunity to be entrusted with the growth and well-being of all of our students. May we never take for granted this incredible privilege. We give thanks for the many years of wonderful leadership that guided us here to this place today, to those who came before us, molding Wilson to what it is now. And today we give special thanks for Wes, and we ask a blessing on him. I would ask that you bless him with energy, but he already has that. So bless to contain his energy and use it wisely and to take care of himself. Give us strength and wisdom to support Wes in all that he does in representing, in nurturing, and cheering us on and leading us forward. Help us to be a team, to be one Wilson, to be together, to continue to grow this place and to achieve our mission. Lord, we give thanks that you are watching us this day, that your Spirit is present with us on this wonderful occasion. Unite us, combine us, and help us to support Wes as he leads us to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly in this world. Amen.
All righty. Thank you, Reverend Wadlington. You may be seated. Today, each of you become a part of this esteemed institution's history as we bear witness to an important ceremony in the life of the college. We join together as one community to remember Wilson's past and dream of the opportunities that lie ahead as Dr. Fugate is officially installed as president. We're honored to have many special guests with us today. The tradition of higher education and our connection to the higher education community is reflected through the presence of presidents, alumni, and other representatives of institutions across the country. Additionally, delegates are present from learned societies and professional associations that have a connection to Wilson College and Dr. Fugate. We thank all delegates for their presence today. We also welcome our community, represented by elected officials, business leaders, and Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development officials. Wilson is proud to call Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, home. On a non-COVID year, our faculty, staff, and students typically give thousands of volunteer hours to help local community organizations fulfill their missions. This year, it has been our pleasure to also support the Franklin County Coalition for Progress's MLK Day of Service and SCAP's virtual winter celebration and their annual Rising Phoenix Awards. We are also pleased to partner with area nonprofits and organizations such as the Greater Chambersburg Chamber of Commerce Foundation's Youth Franklin County Leadership Program. Thank you all for being such great partners. I would be remiss if I did not also thank Ashley Presnar from Congressman John Joyce's office, Franklin County Commissioner Robert Zabrowski, who is also a Wilson graduate, Borough of Chambersburg Town Council Vice President Mike Herbert, and Council Member Barbara Beatty for attending. Borough Manager Jeffrey Stonehill is also with us. Thank you all for being here. Wilson College was founded on the ideals that all students, regardless of gender, age, race, or socioeconomic strata, should have the opportunity to pursue a quality higher education. Students are at the core of what we do, so it is fitting that we just spent the past 2 days celebrating our class of 2020 and class of 2021 graduates. It was truly a joy to be able to recognize all their hard work and accomplishments in person after this year. And speaking of students, I'd like to thank our inauguration student ambassadors for being here and lending a hand with the ceremony. We also thank the many members of the Board of Directors of the Alumni Association of Wilson College who are with us. Since Pennsylvania is still operating under COVID guidelines for large events, we were not able to invite everyone we would have liked. Representing the traditional blue and silver line, which normally is made up of alums from each decade, is Cynthia Fink Barber from the class of 1973. And a very special greeting to the alums, friends, and family joining virtually. Your generous gifts of time, talent, and treasure mean so much and help to lift Wilson when she needs you most. Thank you. The staff at Wilson College are truly the backbone of our institution. With a level of resolute dedication and commitment that is unsurpassed, they daily support our students and faculty. They have a belief in the Wilson student experience that makes them achieve greatness with often limited resources. No project is impossible. We welcome them and appreciate all they do. If the staff are the backbone, then the faculty are the heart of a college. The faculty impart wisdom, develop supportive bonds with, and shape the lives of our students. They are the stewards of our academic standards. We thank them, especially today, for their perseverance and flexibility these past 14 months. We're honored by their presence today. Wilson College is blessed to have an amazingly dedicated and supportive group of trustees who guide the institution. We are delighted so many are able to join us to celebrate this special day with President Fugate. We should also acknowledge the women and men who have served in leadership roles in the past. We are joined today by several former trustees. Trustee Emeriti and Interim President A. Richard Needler, and 2 former presidents, Mary Linda Sorber, Miriam Armacost, William's 16th president, and Barbara Mistick, the 19th president of the college. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank the faculty and staff who have given so much of their time and heart in planning and making Dr. Fugate's inauguration a memorable event. I'm sure you will come to appreciate how truly creative these folks are as you notice all the little details that have been cared for. Director of Career Development, Linda Boeckman, Associate Professor of Philosophy, John Elia, Director of Alumni Relations, Mary Beth Famulary. Office of the President, Chief of Staff, Melissa Mitt-Imes. Vice President for Marketing, Communications, and Strategic Initiatives, Cassandra Latimer. Director of Development, Denise McDowell. Assistant to the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty, Rhonda Rinaldi. Professor of Sociology, Julie Raleigh. Graphic Designer, Kendra Tidd. And Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Angela Zeman. Please join me in giving them a round of applause for today's activities. And lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the partnership of our two faculty marshals, Professor of Biology Dana Harriger and Professor of English Larry Schillick, as well as our college marshal Deb Austin, who is a professor of chemistry. Their leadership and participation today are much appreciated. As I introduce members of the presidential party, I would ask each to please stand. Dr. Bradley Bateman, President of Randolph College in Lynchburg, Virginia. Linda Boeckman, Director of Career Development at Wilson College and a Chair of Wilson Connect, a staff communication and advisory group. Linda DiStasio, Wilson Class of 1974, President of the Alumni Association of Wilson College and member of the Board of Trustees. Alice Elia, President of the Borough of Chambersburg Town Council. Jill Hummer, Associate Professor of Political Science at Wilson and Chair of the Faculty Senate. Hillarie Lynk, President of Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Matthew McBride, Assistant Professor of Interdisciplinary Practice at Wilson. Barbara Mistick, President of NICU, the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. Barbara Tenney, a member of Wilson's Class of 1967 and current Chair of the Board of Trustees. Jim Orsini, Vice President of the Wilson College Board of Trustees. And you've already met Reverend Derek Wadlington, who delivered the invocation. And Matthew Wilson, President of the Wilson College Government Association and a member of the class of 2023. Please join me in recognizing members of the presidential party. You may be seated. You didn't remain standing. I should make you all stand and then sit. I'm pleased to introduce you to members of President Fugate's immediate family, and I ask that they each please stand when announced. Okay, let's see if you can follow directions. His husband, Cody Ward, and Cody's mother, Paula. His mother and father, Marshall and Jackie Fugate. His twin brother, Les Fugate, and his wife, Catherine. Thank you. You all can be seated. Now that's how it's done. A college presidency requires a tremendous amount of commitment and often sacrifice from the president's family, and for this we thank you. Dr. Fugate has other family, friends, and special colleagues joining him today and virtually. We welcome you all to Wilson College to share in this important moment for Dr. Fugate's presidency. In fact, to every person in attendance and online, we are honored and humbled by your presence and appreciate all your support of Dr. Fugate and Wilson College. I'd now like to invite Assistant Professor Matt McBride to the lectern to share with us all a special poem he wrote in honor of today's occasion.
Okay. This is poem for the inauguration of Dr. Wesley Fugate, May 17th, 2021. And so you've escaped Prestonburg for Chambersburg, another town at the trough of a low wave of mountains. I can imagine the comfort that Jenny Wiley gave you, the rustle of everyone clapping after a show under the sky's infinite ceiling. The stage's facade painted to look like what someone in Kentucky thought Greek columns and entablature looked like. In a town where it was hard to move past stranger, the choir too must have been a comfort. Was it like faith to feel the sum of voices as more than itself? Perhaps it felt like the day the president of Center College told you you could have his job as the bourbon bright sun spilled over everything. And now we're here today, and now you cross the proscenium line to the apron of a new stage. Wes, we are filling in, even though there are still empty chairs. Wes, these tickets cost a fortune, but we pay gladly. There is that type of quiet that comes before every communal song. And Wes, we could use a good song right about now. Sing us something that will make us feel like everything is coming up daisies.
Thank you. That was beautiful. A very fitting piece for today with nods to President Fugate's past and the opportunities in Wilson's future. That's beautiful. On occasions such as these, it is customary for the new president to receive greetings from various constituencies. Today, we will begin with remarks from Dr. Mistick, representing Associations of Higher Learning, and will conclude with Linda Boeckman, representing the staff at Wilson College. Dr. Mistick.
Thank you, Hillarie. And to Dr. Tenney and President Fugate, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, students, alums, and the extended Wilson community, thank you for inviting me to join in this special celebration in the life of Wilson College. I was privileged to serve Wilson as your 19th president and will always be grateful for the friendships established here and to now have the opportunity to pursue in a new way the ideals we forged together. I continue to be so proud of what Wilson College stands for, and after the extraordinary times of the past 15 months, as it is immortalized in the alma mater, it is a sweetness unsurpassed to be back here in community with each of you on the green. Thank you. A place such as Wilson is never done. In fact, who knew that you had a second pandemic to survive? That is what makes this a living place. What you are today is the product of many hands who have built upon the foundation of others and whose work will be built on in turn. That is why it gives me distinct pleasure, both personally and professionally, to celebrate President Fugate's appointment as the 20th president of Wilson College. As the president of the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities, it is my honor to bring greetings on behalf of President Fugate's colleagues from our member presidents at over 1,700 private nonprofit colleges and universities across the United States and the 5 million students we serve. Our association is your public policy partner in Washington, D.C., serving colleges and universities like Wilson to make sure that the transformative impact Wilson students experience is known and your voice is heard in our nation's capital. Despite a very challenging environment this past year, the fact that Congress provided almost $77 billion in COVID relief funding to all sectors of higher education, beginning with the CARES Act last March, through the recent American Rescue Plan, lets you know that your commitment at Wilson to students' success, to excellence in teaching and learning, and accessibility and affordability is critically important to building back our nation. I'm gonna lose it. I think I'll preempt it. How's that? Sorry. The National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities stand side by side. It's never easy at Wilson, so, why should this be any different? Sorry for that. The National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities stands side by side with our member presidents like President Fugate, whose passion and advocacy for the importance of higher education are leading the charge in Washington and in state capitals across the country. The responsibilities faced by Wilson and every one of our colleges and universities to ensure access and affordability are immense. Ideas like free public college would limit a student's choice to select the best fit college or university that suits the educational goals and objectives. Astounding as it may seem, this is happening at a time when private colleges and universities like Wilson are graduating students, as you did this weekend, at all levels, including those that are low income, first in their family to attend college and to receive a bachelor's degree, who work full-time or are single parents at higher rates than any other sector. We are a nation of college towns. You can see that right here today in Chambersburg. And as trusted partners with a commitment to research, innovation, and workforce development, colleges and universities are the communities they call home, a network of mutual success. Just as Wilson is an economic anchor for the borough of Chambersburg and for Franklin County, America's private nonprofit colleges are a significant part of their community's social and fabric, and often at the center of vibrant neighborhoods. That is why, during a time of recovery and renewal, we need brave and bold leaders like President Fugate to help preserve the choice all of you made to be at Wilson College and to make sure Wilson is here and prepared no matter what the future may hold. Congratulations to the Wilson community and to President Fugate. Thank you.
It is an honor and privilege for me to be here today, bringing greetings on behalf of the higher education community. What a special moment for Wes, for Cody, for his family, and for Wilson College. An installation marks a moment of beginning, of hope for the future, and of commitment to a leader and their vision for the institution. To President Fugate, congratulations on being formally inaugurated into what has frequently been called, even before the past 16 months, the hardest job in America. I think it is fair to say that the past year and a half have shaken all college and university presidents, challenged our agility and ability to pivot quickly, forced us to thread very narrow needles on vexing issues of social justice, health and safety, financial stability, and at heart, the future of higher education in general. What a year to step into a presidency. As I always remind people, the challenges of this year go far beyond a global pandemic and include a racial reckoning, political divide, financial crisis, and questions over the very value of what institutions like Wilson represent. Whenever I start to feel bad for myself that I had only 8 months of a normal presidency at Allegheny College before the world turned upside down, I think of Wes, who had a robust 2 months under his belt when COVID interrupted life and college as we all know it. 2 months. In fact, I bet many of you are saying to yourselves, oh, wow, that's what Wes looks like in person. He exists in 3D. He has a body below the neck. His eyes aren't nearly as glazed over as they might be after 9 straight hours of Zoom meetings. In all seriousness, when Wes asked me to bring greetings today, I began thinking a lot about the role of institutions of higher education. in the past, now, and in the post-COVID world that will come. I'm a scholar of Italian Renaissance literature, and thinking and studying and writing in another language gives me the ability to shift my perspective to arrive at different solutions to big issues. And as I was writing these remarks, that's what I did. Italians often use the word formazione, so formation, when talking about education. And that is a word that resonates for me, and certainly in this context. Institutions like Wilson, through ideals of wisdom, honor, justice, are forming minds of their students, giving them the tools they will need to form or craft their lives to address the complexities of the world they will enter, the big intractable problems that lie ahead for our environment, our political body, our societies. As a linguist, I then move from formazione to trasformazione, transformation, educating across or beyond to the other side. And that, fundamentally, is the value of a college like Wilson, to change lives, to change students and their families' trajectories, to create an opportunity of social and economic mobility. But institutions themselves must also embrace that mobility, that change of trajectory. They must be nimble, to bend but not break with the continued arrival of challenges, as this year showed. And inaugurating a new leader is a moment to recognize change, to embrace that agility and ability to stay focused on core values while shifting. And it is that ability that has brought Wilson to this point of strength and a moment of new beginning 152 years after its founding. I don't need to tell you all that you selected your own transformational leader, one who is himself nimble, strong yet empathetic, visionary and yet realistic. He is, I'm sure you agree, the right leader for Wilson at this time. But no matter how strong or phenomenal a leader is, they cannot succeed alone. As I noted, as a Renaissance scholar, for inspiration, I often look to figures of the Renaissance who themselves transformed the world. In this moment, I'm reminded of how Michelangelo Buonarroti described the process of sculpting his amazing figures from a block of marble. He spoke of freeing the figures he saw in that block of marble. In his mind, the figures were all there, fully formed. He just had to remove the excess marble and showcase what he knew to be in there. A college is hardly a block of marble. It is a living, breathing social organism that shifts constantly. But like the sculptor, the leader of an institution is charged, in a way, with being laser focused on core values at the heart of the institution and bringing those into the light, thus freeing the institution to shine. Since its founding, Wilson has educated students in the historic liberal arts, going back to the Latin again, the very skills needed to liberate the mind and be free citizens. But the world is always changing, as are the very skills and education graduates need to be free citizens in this complex world in which we live. And so institutions must continue to transform themselves, to keep being places that transform, that create mobility, provide opportunity for graduates in this fast-changing world. Continued transformation in the face of global challenge is not a simple task, and it cannot be the task of one person. To be successful, a leader needs everyone supporting him, even if you may not always agree with him, so that he can succeed for you all and for the college. Everyone must recognize their role in supporting Wes. Earlier, I mentioned that an inauguration is a moment of commitment of the institution to the leader and vice versa. As if we were at another type of commitment ceremony or wedding, I feel compelled to ask all of you to affirm, do you promise to do your part to support President Fugate as he works tirelessly to bring success, recognition, and new opportunity to Wilson? If you promise this, I see great promise for the college. The coming years will not be easy. If we've learned anything in the past 16 months, it is that we cannot predict what lies ahead. But guided by wisdom, honor, justice, with agility, open minds, creativity, and focus, Wilson College, under Wes's leadership, will continue to transform its students and transform itself. Here's to your next 152 years.
Good afternoon, President Fugate, fellow dignitaries and delegates, college faculty, staff, and students, and other esteemed guests. I appreciate the invitation to represent Chambersburg's local government and the greater Chambersburg community by participating in today's inaugural event. President Fugate, on behalf of the Borough of Chambersburg, I would like to formally welcome you and congratulate you on your installment as Wilson's 20th president. I moved to Chambersburg nearly 15 years ago. Like you and Cody, and so many of us present today, I am here because of Wilson College. For audience members who might not know, my husband, John, is a proud member of the Wilson College faculty. In these 15 years, Chambersburg and Wilson College have become home for us. 6 years ago, I was honored to be elected to the Chambersburg Borough Council as one of the council members representing the First Ward of Chambersburg, which includes Wilson College. Personal and political connections aside, I think I can say without bias that Wilson faculty and staff and the women and men who have graduated from Wilson are among the most interesting, thoughtful, and civically engaged people I know. President Fugate, you are fortunate to have selected such a wonderful college community to serve. And I know you have a commitment to serve. Your participation on the borough's Comprehensive Planning Advisory Committee is good for Chambersburg and for a renewed relationship between the borough and Wilson College. Your willingness to engage with community groups such as Racial Reconciliation of Franklin County and the Chambersburg Area Chamber of Commerce are a testament to your values and vision. Your keynote at the recent MLK Day of Service was particularly powerful. It showcased your commitment to social justice and action. It reflected as well on the college's commitment to these values in selecting you to be their president. Chambersburg is growing and changing. What Chambersburg becomes depends on who shows up, who sits at the table, who rolls up their sleeves to serve. Dr. Wesley Fugate, 20th president of Wilson College, I'm glad you have shown up ready to serve, to help our community progress toward its very best future. Once more, congratulations to you.
It is my great honor to bring greetings from the 8,000 or so graduates who today comprise the Alumni Association of Wilson College. We've acknowledged Cindy Barber, who stood in as the blue and silver line for this event. I would like to thank the many other alums that I see as I've looked around. I appreciate your coming today to show your support to Wilson and our new president, Wesley Fugate. It's a very important moment in the life of any college to welcome a new president. Wilson has just completed its first 150 years, and while we are all hopeful and optimistic that it is poised for bigger and better things over the next 150 years, we are also mindful that the challenges and potential pitfalls confronting Wilson today are unlike any it has dealt with in those first 150 years. That said, Wilson has been blessed at many points over its existence with the right leader for the time, and we believe that Wilson is blessed at this moment with the right leader in Dr. Wesley Fugate. Dr. Fugate's impressive skill sets align well with our institutional needs at this time. He's not afraid to confront difficult situations head-on, and he's willing to be transparent and inclusive in his analysis and thoughts on how best to address the issues. He has boundless enthusiasm and a clear vision about what is possible. Perhaps most inspiring is his ability to connect with others, share his vision, and bring the various constituencies that comprise Wilson College along to achieve what needs to be done. Alumni of any institution have the long-term view of its story. We are on campus for just the few years during which we were students, but we got to know people with their own connections to the college that might go back many years earlier, and we remain attached as alums for many decades after we leave. Many alums actively engaged with Wilson today fondly remember the man who was president when they were students, and he assumed the role of president back in the 1930s. Many decades' worth of alums joined together to fight an unprecedented battle to keep the college from closing in the late 1970s. And today, we actively support the current students with a variety of initiatives and programs. We are gone from the everyday campus, but we remain strongly committed and connected to our alma mater, its past, present, and future. We welcome Dr. Fugate as Wilson's 20th president and thank him for his willingness to come along with Wilson College on this journey with us to lead Wilson through the challenges confronting it. Thank you.
Wilson community, past presidents, Board of Trustees, alums, esteemed guests. On behalf of the Wilson College student body, it is with great honor and privilege to welcome you, President Fugate, to Wilson. You arrived in winter 2020, and upon your arrival, you hit the ground running. Coming to Wilson, you've been visible to the student body. You've been there at games, you've been there for student organizations, you've been there to hear our voices and our concerns. In such a short time, you have already begun your impact on this institution and its students. As the WCGA president, it has been rewarding seeing you with students as well as working with you. On behalf of the Wilson College student body, we support you as you embark on your journey as Wilson's 20th president of this institution that is enriched by history. For the compassion and empathy you share with the faculty, staff, and students, and for the leadership and guidance you have brought forth to this college thus far, we are excited for the changes we will see under your administration and the determination to always be diverse and bold. President Fugate, it is with great gratitude we officially welcome you, Cody, and Scarlett to Sharp House in Wilson College. As our alma mater states, for there is no place like Wilson. Though we search over land and sea, she is small, but she is mighty, and she's wonderful to me. President Fugate, keep this college mighty, and welcome to your home. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Good afternoon, friends, old and new. President Fugate, as chair of the Faculty Senate, I am so pleased to offer you the warmest greetings on behalf of all of the Wilson College faculty, from those of us who teach our students how to make art, how to see under a microscope, how to speak a foreign language, how to analyze data and historical documents, how to measure vital signs, and how to care for animals. My friend and colleague, Julie Raleigh, said to me in the dining hall the other day, she said, "Wow, Wes can do everything." The global and local challenges you faced during your first year were immense, but your grounding and your upbringing in the liberal arts has clearly prepared you to face them. And we, the faculty, truly appreciate your tireless commitment to seeing us through. In particular, we appreciate your leadership of presence. Your visibility on campus and exuberance for our community offers our students a sense of security. They know that their school and their education is firmly grounded. We look forward to working with you as we together provide an education that explores truth, goodness, and beauty, and the interconnectedness of life. Once again, welcome.
Good afternoon. As the chair of Wilson Connect, and behalf of all the staff, from advancement, student development, athletics, admissions, library, IT, student success, the business office, and all other support staff, it is a pleasure to finally, officially welcome President Fugate to Wilson College. Nelson Mandela states that education is the powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. As those who work to support faculty and students outside the classroom, staff understand a key to a thriving student population is finding the connections that keep students vested and builds their confidence. The staff here at Wilson are dedicated to making this community feel like family. We guide the students and help them to be bold during their time on campus, as well as their life after college. With your leadership, we will continue to change the world and the future of all of our students, one bold act at a time. Welcome.
I think it's back to me. All righty, so now for the main event. A Board of Trustees has no more important duty than that of selecting an institutional leader, and the Wilson College Board of Trustees takes this responsibility seriously. The board is under the leadership of Dr. Barbara Tenney, class of 1967. Dr. Tenney, along with members of the Presidential Search Committee, led by Trustee Robin Bernstein, have put forth countless hours ensuring the successful selection, announcement, and transition of the college's 20th president. Madam Chair, I know this is a proud moment for you as well. Will you please come forward to deliver your charge to the president and preside over the formal investiture of Dr. Fugate?
Thank you, Hillarie. You are absolutely right. Seeking the right president at the right time for Wilson College has been so very important to the trustees. And I'm happy to say we found it in Wes. When searching for our 20th president, we knew it would take someone special to build upon our past and help guide Wilson into a new era of opportunities. We conducted a national search and received 110 CVs for the position. So competition was steep, but one candidate stood out. We knew from our first in-person pre-COVID interview that Wes was a master communicator. He came across with authenticity, empathy, sincerity, transparency, and as someone highly focused. One member of the search committee even remarked after Wes's first interview, "They'll love him." And boy, do they. Wes has hit the ground running, making what I believe will be lasting relationships with every constituency of the college and the greater Chambersburg community. You know, there are some people in life who have goals. Then there are some people who have goals for every chapter of their life. Wes is one of those driven individuals. Each role, every experience since his undergraduate days has prepared him for today and to be a college president. Wes is the real deal. Wes, we are so happy to be one of your chapters. I would now like to invite Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Jim Orsini, to join me at the lectern for the official investiture of Dr. Wesley Fugate as Wilson College's 20th president. Oh, my turn still. As you place this, okay. By virtue of the authority of Wilson College and the Board of Trustees, we place the Wilson College presidential chain of office around your shoulders as an outward symbol of your office, your responsibilities, and your devotion to the college. Dr. Fugate, you may dignify your office with, may you dignify your office with wisdom, leadership, compassion, and hospitality, and so fulfill the confidence we place in you. May we all work together for the betterment of humankind through our commitment to this academic community. And now, with the full confidence of the Board of Trustees, joined by those gathered here today, Wesley R. Fugate, I declare that you are the 20th President of Wilson College.
Okay, that is fabulous. That's all I can say. That is fabulous. To introduce President Fugate, I am pleased to welcome Dr. Bradley Bateman of Randolph College to the lectern. Dr. Bateman.
Congratulations, Wes. I'd like to begin today by thanking Wes for inviting me to introduce him to the community. It's a great honor to have this assignment. I had no idea that I would be speaking immediately after the investiture. Some of you who are old enough in the audience will know the rock and roller Jerry Lee Lewis. No one plays the stage after Jerry Lee Lewis. He's called the Killer. But here I am. I'd like to begin today by speaking about Wes's values, his character, and then to speak to you about his passion. In Wilson's terms, when I speak of his values and character, you would want to know, does he demonstrate qualities of justice, honor, and wisdom? And I'm happy to say to you that Wes is a just and honorable and wise man. In addition, I want to tell you that he is honest, hardworking, resilient, concerned for others, empathic, and generous to a fault. These characteristics of Wes's have their origin in his background. We met his family earlier, and they are instrumental in shaping him. Wes comes from modest means. He was a scholarship student at college. He's the son of a coal miner. And he had a liberal education at Center College. His education at Center College gave him a means of transforming his many talents and gifts into the person we now know. Because it was an outstanding liberal education, it did not make of Wes a predetermined person. Those of you in the audience in higher education are very familiar with the argument that all colleges and universities in this country are shaping people to be the same person with the same values. It's amazing to me that this myth and lie continues, and that we continue to encounter it every day. But of course, Wes went to Center not to encounter an education where the faculty wanted him to be a particular thing with a particular person with a particular set of values, but rather what they wanted of him and what they allowed of him was to become the person he wanted to become, albeit not in exactly the way he might have imagined. The alchemy of liberal education has a logic of its own as it forces the learner to learn the wisdom of many perspectives, of science, of the humanities, of the social sciences. We learn, for instance, the role of ethics and the ethical questions that animate each part of human life. We learn the importance of understanding our lives in historical context. We learn about the barriers that we create for others through our social structures and the ways that we prevent other people from succeeding. Thus, we become the person we want to become, but we also are forced to see ourselves in a new, fuller light. And now, it is that transformed person I want to talk about with you. The person who became transformed by his liberal education into a passionate advocate for liberal education. Wilson College, frankly, needs a person with Wes's passion for liberal education. I'm not the first to come to the podium to say that to you today. New hard work lies ahead for those of us in the sector of liberal arts college. In recent years, in Virginia, where I'm coming to you from today, many liberal arts colleges have become universities. Many have added health science colleges. Now they're universities. They're not liberal arts colleges anymore, and they don't call themselves that. It's not that they don't liberally educate people, and I want to talk about that with you for a minute. But as I said, there's new hard work ahead, and it's work that is frankly heartbreaking to many, but it is the work we face together. The question is, how will we preserve the aims and transformative potential of liberal education at small private colleges? There will not be one way. One way that we have seen is schools adding more and more pre-professional and professional degree programs and beginning to talk about a liberal arts core. This, of course, follows the model of the large state university. Yet another way may be new courses in pre-professional and professional areas that embody questions and issues of ethics, history, the barriers we create for other people within the dialogue of teaching those disciplines. But I'm going to guess that we don't actually know what shape liberal education will take in the new small private college that will emerge as we enter the middle of the 21st century. It could be in the pragmatic model that I mentioned. It might be something completely new and quixotic. But cometh the hour, cometh the man. You need someone with Wes's commitment in order to help you shape the Wilson College of the next 150 years. You need someone who is flexible and pragmatic, but someone whose deepest value is to produce a transformative education. In the uncertain frontier of redefining the way we liberally educate people, Wes Fugate is your person. You are lucky to have him, and he is lucky to have found the right place to be. Wes, congratulations again.
Madam Chair, trustees, faculty, staff, students, alumni and alumni, delegates of learned societies, colleges and universities, local business and community leaders, my own family and friends, and special guests. Whether here or watching at home, I am honored and humbled to stand before you as the 20th president of Wilson College. Sometimes the stars align, and in the case for the search for Wilson's 20th president, I believe that to be the case. It is perhaps fitting that I, as a first-generation college student, would one day become the president of an institution initially funded by a farm woman with no formal education who simply wanted to ensure that others had access to higher education. Today is the realization of a dream for me and a testament to how education is key to reaching your goals. I am so grateful to serve Wilson, and I feel truly called to be here. I especially would like to thank the Board of Trustees for your confidence in me to assume this role at such a pivotal moment in the college's history. You, like I, never imagined the challenges that presented themselves in our first year and a half together, and I am grateful for your leadership and partnership. I also want to acknowledge the former presidents who join us here today or online. Wilson's history has never been easy. The challenges these women and men faced over the last 42 years and the grace, intelligence, and fortitude with which they tackled these challenges, along with the other members of this community, drew me to this place and provide the foundation for Wilson's future. I am indebted to each of you for your warm welcome, your sage counsel, and your friendship, and I'm privileged to follow in your footsteps. When the inaugural committee met in late February, once we realized that some form of an in-person event might be possible, Professor Julie Raleigh declared that the committee might be one of the longest-serving ad hoc committees in the history of the college. And she just might be right. I appointed the committee in early 2020, shortly before the world changed. Professor Raleigh's declaration in some ways describes how the past 17 months have been completely unpredictable. So deep gratitude goes out to the women and men who have served on the inaugural committee, led by Vice President Cassandra Latimer, and those behind the scenes who have helped make today possible. While today is not what we originally envisioned, it is a meaningful day for Wilson College, for my family, and for me. Many of you know I have dreamed of being a president of a small liberal arts college since my undergraduate days, and I had many grand plans for what the inaugural festivities might look like. When the pandemic hit and all of us were burning the candle at both ends, it seemed as if we should just forego this moment. But again, Professor Raleigh and members of the committee said to me, "This is important. Wilson needs this moment." She was right, they were right, and I'm so glad that we are here today marking this occasion together. I must also pause ever so briefly to acknowledge the people who have helped me get here today. Despite not having the opportunity to pursue a bachelor's degree themselves, my parents never let my brother and me ever think that not going to college was an option. I knew this would happen. I'm going to look this way. They sacrificed so much to make sure that we got the best education and that we could experience the benefits of the life that comes from having college degrees. Perhaps no one was more excited to hear that I would be Wilson's 20th president than them, and I would not be here without them. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving all that you did to ensure I could one day achieve this dream. I've had two partners in life. The first is the guy who always knows what I'm thinking without me saying it. He is the man who joined me in the journey at Center College and again at Vanderbilt. We shared a first home and our first careers. He is my other half genetically. And unfortunately for the college, Wilson probably got the lesser of the Fugate twins. Les, thanks for being with me through life's journey. My other partner, who Wilson has gotten to know a bit better, is my husband, Cody. Cody has been remarkably understanding as we took on the mantle of the presidency, a role in life most presidential partners never asked for, and one he assumed at such an unpredictable time. He has been patient when our time together is interrupted by the latest crisis, and when after a long day, I don't have the mental capacity to engage with him in his favorite activities. It hasn't been the first year and a half that he had anticipated, but his support for me has never wavered. I can't wait for you all to spend more time with him as we transition out of this pandemic. Cody, thank you for all you have already given to Wilson, and thank you for being my person and for believing in me always. I thank the other friends and colleagues who are with us today. Many who have traveled quite some distance. We were unable to invite as many as we had hoped, but I am grateful to each of you here today and to those watching at home. I especially want to acknowledge my colleagues from my prior institution, Randolph College. It was a place that prepared me well to meet the challenges of this role, and I'm honored by their presence here today. In particular, I thank Dr. Bateman for his kind introduction, the professional opportunities he provided me, and everything he taught me during our time together at Randolph. In November of 2019, I visited Wilson's campus in preparation for the site team visit from the Middle States Commission on Higher Education and got to know our team here better. During a meeting with the cabinet, then Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Cammie Raleigh, asked if I considered what theme I might want for an inauguration. And to be honest, even though I had dreamed of this day, I had not considered a theme. She said that my passion for the honor principle resonated deeply with many in the college community, and that I should consider having that as a part of my theme. And from there, Wisdom, Honor, Justice, a Foundation for the Future was born. In some ways, it feels like I'm building upon the themes of the two preceding installations. President Edmondson's inaugural address was entitled, Honoring the Past and Embracing the Future. President Mistick's theme was for the love and legacy of Wilson. As Wilson enters its second 150 years, we honor our past by making it the foundation upon which we build our future. What is that foundation? A place and legacy that we love, and a place that has learned to adapt to ensure that it continues to make a difference in the lives of students. And specifically for me, it is our commitment to wisdom, honor, and justice that calls me to serve this wonderful institution. If I were to ask most students for a definition of wisdom, they might turn to Google, where they would find the definition, the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight. In other words, exactly the product of a great education rooted in the liberal arts and sciences. I contend that there is absolutely no better education to prepare students to enter the world than one based in the liberal arts. It's where students are taught to think critically, creatively, and analytically, communicate effectively and efficiently, live and work honorably, and share the world with people who do not look, act, or think like themselves. Not unexpectedly, time and time again, that is exactly what CEOs say they want in their employees. And I can speak to the value of such an education firsthand. I emerged from my own undergraduate college with a degree in dramatic arts and economics, which perhaps at first glance some might question as a preparation to be a college president. But I contend it is the perfect preparation. My education at Center taught me to think with a critical eye, to explore creatively, to communicate my message effectively and with passion, and to adapt to an ever-changing world. Our history as a college has always upheld the importance of the liberal arts. They are a part of our DNA, and yet we have allowed our approach to education to evolve, just as the liberal arts have evolved throughout history. Going back to ancient Greece, the liberal arts consisted of the medieval quadrivium, astronomy, mathematics, geometry, and music. Over time, rhetoric, grammar, and logic, the trivium, were added to form the 7 core subjects of the liberal arts. Much like how the ancient Greeks evolved and broadened their definition of the liberal arts, so have we. Wilson has long viewed itself as a place that can offer the best of both worlds, professional education coupled with a strong grounding in the liberal arts, preparing graduates to be productive leaders in society. In fact, it was during President Ethelbert Warfield's tenure as president that the college moved away from a classical course of study to answer the call for more practical programs and a more vocational education. And with the launch of our animal programs, the college began to offer students an education rooted in the liberal arts, coupled with a layer of professional preparation to ensure they enter the world ready for careers. For the 40 years since these programs began, we have been finding new ways to deliver a broad-based education in the liberal arts to our students. That tradition continues today with many of our degree programs, like nursing. Yes, our students learn the skill sets they need to be effective practitioners, but it's the compassion, the communication skills, the understanding of diverse persons, and the empathy for others that sets them apart in the workplace. Their success is due in part to the preparation afforded them through our liberal arts curriculum. Our 2 founders, Reverend Dr. Tryon Edwards and Reverend James Whiteman, sought to, and I quote, create a college for young women that emphasized intellectual training with a guiding basis of conscience and honor, end quote. Fittingly, 16 years after our founding in early 1905, the college adopted its beloved honor system. The system remained very much unchanged for 65 years until March 1969, when it was revised to help establish standards for both behavior and conduct off campus as well as on campus. It is from this revision that the current language for the honor principle is derived. The principle now states that, and I quote, every member of the community will act with integrity in all aspects of life, end quote. The honor code itself was introduced in 1993. In it, each member of the college community is called upon to, and I quote, demonstrate personal integrity, respect the dignity of all persons, respect the rights and property of others, respect diversity in people, ideas, and opinions, and demonstrate concern for others, their feelings, and their needs for conditions which support their work and development, end quote. You can tell from the language of our founders, the honor principle and the honor code, that at Wilson, honor is more than just don't lie, cheat, or steal. Here, honor is about honorable living, the way you care for yourself and for others. It is this principle that really drew me to Wilson. The honor system resonates deeply with me. While it was never referred to at home as honorable living, I was introduced to this concept at an early age by my parents. They taught me to focus on doing what is right, even when it is difficult. They educated me to love others and to care for them deeply. They instilled in me that integrity is about what you do not only when others are watching, but especially when they are not. Honorable living is so critically important to the history of this place and the way in which we think about governance and shared responsibility to one another. And at a time when our global community is rife with societal challenges, it seems appropriate to refocus on the importance of honor in our past, the present, and our future. Wilson's history has always been one of access and justice. In 1869, when the college was founded, there was resistance by many to women receiving a college-level education. Fewer than 24 women's colleges existed in the country. Wilson would find itself playing a pivotal role, opening doors for women to get the very best education possible. And as a Presbyterian-affiliated institution, we can trace our call to justice to Micah 6:8, where we are taught to, and I quote, do justice and to love kindness, end quote. At the time of our founding, a movement was taking place to apply Christian ethics to solve social ills. And with that, the social justice movement at Wilson began as we prepared women to go in the world to address societal problems. One of the most well-known societal issues to which Wilson contributed was supporting a woman's right to vote in the United States. Hannah Patterson, a member of the class of 1901, was a prominent suffragist, serving as chair of the Woman Suffrage Party of Pennsylvania and secretary of the National American Woman Suffrage Association. Her work, with that of so many others, led to the 1920 ratification of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women an equal right to vote. Of course, our history has other connections to justice. For example, did you know the college was built upon grounds associated with a prominent abolitionist, Colonel A.K. McClure? Even with historical ties, however, Wilson's road to justice has been bumpy at times. In March of 1927, the college had its first official application from a qualified black student, but the admission committee voted 2-1 not to admit her. It would not be until 1952, after much effort from students and a letter from a highly regarded alumna supporting the idea, that a black student would enroll. And it was not until 1958 that Doris Oswell Bruno would become our first black graduate. In November 1960, the Student Government Association launched a very successful public boycott of local restaurants that refused to serve black Wilson students. In 1963, 2 Wilson students teamed up with a black Chambersburg resident to expose housing discrimination. 3 Wilson graduates were among the 700 Northern white students to participate in the Mississippi Freedom Project in 1964. This work is simply a part of who we are, and it must continue. And it does continue with the work of the Presidential Commission on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. The concept of access at Wilson has taken different forms at different times. It was not until after World War II that the first men would attend classes as part of an effort to educate servicemen returning from war. By 1974, the college had its first residential male students, but only in small numbers. During President Miriam's tenure, we provided access to adult students through our Division of Continuing Studies. During President Jensen's tenure, we expanded access through our Women with Children program, now known as the Single Parent Scholars Program. Under President Mistick's leadership, we more thoroughly became coeducational and developed programs to help families understand that Wilson was an affordable choice. Higher education delivers the promise of tomorrow, and Wilson believes that we play a critical role in providing that promise to all people, regardless of their background. And our sense of justice is not just related to people. We also seek environmental justice. In 1994, with the creation of what would eventually become the Fulton Center for Sustainability Studies and our program in environmental studies, we have sought to help take care of our planet for future generations. Justice is a part of who we are. I know firsthand how justice can impact one's life. You see, growing up, I myself was blind to many of the injustices to others. It required exposure to these important lessons during my years of higher education and beyond to develop my own understanding of the trials people face in this world simply because of who they are. I have faced those challenges myself, and I know now, more than ever, that I am called to help ensure that all have access to a quality education, preparing them to make a difference in their communities. I am grateful to call home an institution that has been and continues to be equally committed to that cause. So what about the Wilson of today? When I arrived in January of 2020, we were dreaming together of what Wilson's future might be while a deadly virus was beginning its grip on the world. And suddenly, Wilson was faced with the realities of this pandemic and the resulting economic crisis. We have been hit hard. Our faculty and staff have faced trying circumstances, but with creativity and a lot of hard work, have delivered on our promises to students. Our students have found the silver lining during the darkest of days. As we see the light at the end of the tunnel for the pandemic, we are faced with the understanding that the world has changed. The new realities created by the pandemic will be with us for years, and thus Wilson must adapt while remaining true to who we are. I've often remarked that Wilson is a resilient place. Time and time again, our community digs deep and finds a path forward. You can see that resilience in 1879, when, sometimes referred as our darkest fiscal year, trustees feared that the college would have to be shuttered. And in 1883, when the trustees informed the faculty that the school would close, but because of the generosity of the Chambersburg community, the board reversed its decision. It emerges again in 1979 after our near closure, when a group of dedicated alumni fought to reopen the college after a vote by the board to close. You can see it again in 2012 as we became coeducational for our traditional undergraduate population. And you see it now as we boldly persist into the future. So what will Wilson's future be? Fortunately, over the past year, we have all contributed to its future. Students, faculty, staff, alumni, and trustees have all collaborated to develop a new strategic plan entitled Future Wilson, The Phoenix Rises. The plan was approved on Friday as part of the Board of Trustees meeting. What does the plan tell us? Let's turn to the college's new mission statement. Wilson College empowers students to be confident and critical thinkers, creative visionaries, effective communicators, honorable leaders, and agents of justice. Our plan affirms that we will still hold true to the characteristics that make us Wilson: wisdom, honor, justice. Wilson will remain focused on helping students at all levels develop wisdom. We will do that by remaining rooted in the liberal arts, the very best preparation to enter this rapidly changing world. But we will examine our curriculum to make sure it serves the needs of today's students. We can provide both the critical thinking and communication skills to help students navigate the increasingly dynamic society and make a difference in their communities, as well as the career-focused preparation to help them find a good job immediately after leaving these hallowed halls. We will place even greater emphasis on an association between the curriculum and life outside the classroom to ensure student success. Wisdom is developed holistically. It takes place in the classroom, but it also takes place in the hallway conversation with a faculty member, in the dining hall when people of different cultures learn about each other, on the field of competition, in the counseling center, and in the residence hall. Our goal must be to help every student who enters Wilson as an undergraduate cross the commencement stage in 4 years or less, prepared for a meaningful life of work and service. At the same time, we recognize that Wilson has become so much more than an undergraduate residential college. As we have adapted our programs before, particularly over the last decade, we will continue to invest in graduate studies and online programming that serve the needs of our students and the region. Honor must remain at the core of what Wilson is. We must not shy away from talking about it nor holding each other accountable for it. At a time when our country and world need it most, we must prepare graduates to be honorable leaders who lead honorable lives. Our graduates must lead with integrity, care about each other as individuals as well as society, help those who are disadvantaged, and protect our planet. And that is a differentiator. When our graduates seek employment, they will stand apart as a candidate who can demonstrate honor and care for others and the planet. We must continue our legacy as a place that seeks justice and build upon our unique history. We must continue to educate women in ways that give them the confidence and tools to be successful in a world that does not provide them equal opportunity. We must find ways to make our community more diverse and equitable for all populations. Not only is it the right thing to do, but the demographic challenges facing higher education require it. To help lead those efforts, today I am pleased to announce our search for a Director of Justice, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This critical position will be housed in student development and will build community within our diverse populations and lead our efforts around inclusion on this campus. Of course, Wilson must continue to have the courage to be bold in these endeavors, just as it was bold to name an openly gay first-generation college student as its 20th president. Education can be a great equalizer. It changes the trajectory for not only the person receiving it, but their subsequent generations. When given the chance and with the right support, all people can succeed, and Wilson can be the place where that life-changing process happens. But justice cannot occur without access. Wilson's commitment to affordability must continue, and we must be creative in our thinking about how to make Wilson even more affordable to today's students. And we must be bold in communicating this affordability message. Wilson is a life-changing experience and affordable for all students and families. Thanks to the generosity of our dedicated alumni, and friends, our generous financial aid makes a Wilson education more affordable than many public four-year institutions in our region. Everyone needs to hear that message time and time again. So let me repeat. A Wilson education is often more affordable than many public four-year institutions. The recently approved vision for the college is creating possibilities, forging student success, transforming lives. I'm not sure I could put it any better. This is what we have always been about and what we will continue to be. And yet I lift up to you one particular area where I think we must do better. The demographic changes expected over the coming years mean that student success is even more important to Wilson's future than ever before. We must build upon the good work of Associate Dean of Advising Deb Austin and embrace an advising model that helps students navigate our curriculum, helps them discern a path for the future, and steers them to various support systems available to achieve success. In other words, great advising helps a student find their place at Wilson and in the world. We must enhance, as Professor Woolley has described it, the culture of care that permeates this institution. Every single one of us, faculty, staff, trustees, alums, all of us, we must be focused on student success. Every interaction or decision could be the one that propels a student toward a degree or in the opposite direction. From chatting with dining staff to seeking clarity from the financial aid team, from an email with an advisor to a request for a transcript from the registrar's office. Each interaction has the potential to help a student achieve their dream of a college degree. What a tremendous and weighty responsibility. We must all embrace this opportunity. Student success is and always should remain our North Star. We must also step up and live into our responsibility in the greater community. As I look out today and see community leaders, either in person or online, I thank you for your engagement and support of Wilson. As we look to our future, we see an era of being even more deeply involved in the community around us and highlighting for all to see those ways in which we already contribute to the health and well-being of the region. The success of Wilson is good for Chambersburg and Franklin County, and the success of Chambersburg and Franklin County is good for Wilson. We must strengthen our resolve to work collaboratively to seek solutions to the challenges facing our greater community. We have outstanding faculty and students whose thought leadership and research can help propel the region into a prosperous future, and thus we seek the region's support. We covet your internships for our students and jobs for our graduates. We want to hear your needs and how we can help provide the educated workforce you seek. We aim to contribute to the well-being of our community through the cultural activities and programs provided by the college, and we desire to be a part of the solution to make this a more diverse and inclusive community. Wilson College has forever called Chambersburg home, and I long for the days when the signs around town say, "Welcome to Chambersburg, home of Wilson College." As we begin the process of enacting our strategic plan, we must be bold. Now is not the time to rest on our laurels. Now is not the time to expect that doing the same thing we have always done will sustain any college or university through the next decade and beyond. The business model for much of higher education is severely strained. In order to thrive, Wilson will have to make difficult choices and dream imaginatively. We must accept and embrace that student interests are different and explore curricular and co-curricular programs to meet their new needs. And to be successful, we must meet students where they are with different modalities for learning. That's why we are already expanding the role of technology in our delivery of education and services. Small colleges simply cannot go it alone these days. Already, we are seeking partnerships to be more efficient and provide additional opportunities for our students. We must build upon and expand our existing partnerships with high schools, community colleges, the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities of Pennsylvania, and other consortia. And we need to explore other forms of partnership that are increasingly being formed to help institutions weather the demographic challenges facing higher education. When I came to Wilson, I talked about my desire for us to see ourselves as one Wilson. Together, we will dream and forge ahead. If there's been one silver lining to this terrible pandemic, it has been to force us to unite in ways we could have never expected. We must not let the receding pandemic diminish our resolve to collaborate and speak with one another with honesty, transparency, kindness, and understanding, fully embracing and living the intent of our honor system. Please indulge me for a moment and allow me to speak about my outstanding colleagues on the faculty and staff. This year has been enormously taxing. We have all sacrificed so much to support students and see Wilson through this challenge. I am so deeply grateful for all each and every member of our team has done to help us through this moment. As we seek to advance Wilson, we must do so while forging a culture that supports each of you and acknowledges all that you have given to this place. Working together, we can build a future for Wilson that helps the Phoenix not only rise, but soar. We cannot do this work without the generous support of our alumni, and friends. For 152 years, you have given generously to Wilson to ensure that she continues to make a difference in the lives of students, and we will need to count on you even more in the years to come. So many of you have already answered our call, and for that, I thank you. And as the world returns to some normality, I look forward to traveling the country, hearing the Wilson stories of our alums and friends, and helping them find ways to invest in the future of Wilson and her students. The years ahead of us will not be without significant challenge, but it is because of every member of the Wilson family that I am optimistic about our future. This community is what gives me strength and inspires me. Wilson is a gem in the world of higher education. We are a community united around the student experience and not afraid to adapt to our constantly changing world. As we have in the past, we will face tests, but together, as one Wilson, we will find paths forward that will build upon our strong tradition of wisdom, honor, and justice, and help us advance, ensuring Wilson will continue to shape the lives of our students well into the future. Small but mighty, we boldly persist. The power of an education like the one Wilson provides is that it opens doors. Who would have ever guessed that this first-generation college student would one day lead a college like Wilson? I believe that with an education, everything is possible. I am a testament to that truth. The work we do at Wilson is so critical, so important. I am grateful for the opportunity to lead this remarkable institution supported by a remarkable set of colleagues. Thank you for walking alongside me as we strive to make difference in the lives of our students and in this community. Together, we will accomplish much. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Congratulations again. Wilson, honor, justice. A fitting North Star for Wilson College. Thank you, President Fugate, for sharing your vision. I think I can speak for the Wilson community when I say we are with you and will support you every step of the way. After standing for the singing of the alma mater, performed by Rhonda Rinaldi, Rose Runyon, Elizabeth Turchi, and Trustee Judy Young, please remain standing for a choral benediction. Lord bless you and keep you. Then we would ask for you to stand until those in regalia have left the main green. A reception will follow on the Mistick Quad, where you will be able to greet President Fugate. Thank you for attending this historic occasion in the life of Wilson College.
What's the first note? Got it. Mid a group of pines and maples, near a gently flowing stream, rests our lovely college campus. What a peaceful spot it seems. In the beauty of the morning, there's a sweetness unsurpassed. When the twilight shadows deepen, there's a peace until the last. Wilson, how we love to hear it, more and more throughout the years. 'Tis a balm for every sorrow, it will banish all our tears. To her dear departed daughters, 'tis a magic as of yore, and within our memories glowing, it will dwell forevermore. For there is no place like Wilson, though we search for land and sea. She is small, but she is mighty, and she's wonderful to me. For her name is Alma Mater, and will ever stand as one
countenance upon you,
and give you peace,
and give you peace,
and give you peace,
and give you peace. The Lord make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious unto you, and be gracious. The Lord be gracious, gracious unto you.
Amen.
Amen.